What up, YouTube? So let's change out the battery on the Fatboy. We're actually upgrading from a lead acid based battery to a lithium battery. And while we change it, we'll talk a little bit about the advantages of a lithium battery. Let's get into it. Alright, so I got my new lithium battery straight from Harley Davidson. I prefer going to them for parts just because I know they're going to fit, the parts are guaranteed, etc, etc, etc. So this is a 4 amp hour battery. You can also get it in a 6 or an 8. With lithium, from the research I've done, for plenty of amp hours. Now, if you have a road glide or a street glide or a bike with a lot of interior or underneath lighting or anything like that, you may want to consider the 6 amp hour or the 8 amp hour. But the 4 amp hour is already a $200 battery. So you may want to, if cost is an issue for you, the 4 amp hour should do nicely. All right, let's remove this battery first. We start by simply removing the seat. When you have these seats with these bolts, these plastic rings are actually very important. So if you don't have those here, these 2 bolts are just gonna go straight down up into your fender. You may never find them again. Now, you will come to find changing a battery on a Harley, no matter the year, it's pretty much always gonna be the same. Actually, most motorcycles are actually gonna be the same. So let's talk about this, not necessarily, God, there's a lot of dust in here. Not necessarily in the context of just this Fatboy or the Softail, but all motorcycles, because really, they're all really the same. This is pretty much the same process as my CBR. So the first thing we always want to do is find our main fuse. And you want to take that off. You always want to take off the main fuses. Sure, we'll leave one in. It's not going to work anyway. Just so we know which one goes on which side. Keep that off to the side. That's going to avoid you getting electrocuted by anything. Then, and here we're going to talk about the real advantage of a lithium battery. So let's remove this lead acid based battery. Now be very sure never to lose your screws, because even if your new battery comes with these screws are special made and they're always very good to have around in case you lose one. All right, so here's our red. We know it's 3. Just keep those off to the side. And then our ground wires. Again, don't lose these bolts. And our ground wires, also 3. Keep those off to the side. All right, after that's disconnected, just take your battery and remove it. All right, so let's talk about the first and very obvious 2 advantages of a lithium battery. Let's pull this baby out. All right, first very obvious advantage, the size. You'll see the lithium battery is far smaller. The second advantage is the weight. This thing weighs maybe a pound, maybe 2 pounds, if that. Comes with a little test. You see it's all full. This one weighs 20 pounds. So in both weight and size, the lithium battery far superior. A couple other advantages. This thing will crank your bike in any freaking weather condition. If you live in the cold weather, this is what you want. Another advantage, you can put this in any direction and orientation that you want. One thing I really like about it is the size, because you know what? It gives me a lot more room to tuck wires and other crap in there. We'll take that off. And of course, the lithium battery comes with its own little bolts. And of course, a new battery deserves brand new bolt. Let's do the positive side first. I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I've always done positive side and then, red wire then ground wire. Now, if you have some of these stubborn wires, you may want to pull it up, screw it in just a tad, just so it'll bring the things down. I just hand tighten them till I get both of them in. That's just the way I like to do things. Then we do our ground. What's that other bolt? These lithium batteries also don't have those annoying little things that you got to put underneath for the bolts to grab, those little threaded cube things. After that, we're just going to tighten. Make sure your wires are properly aligned where you want them. These bolts strip very easily, so as soon as they get tight, stop. All right, now let's test first of all. We'll put our main fuse back in. All right, now let's test. We have battery. It was really frustrating. I woke up this morning ready to do an awesome video, and then woke up, came out, no battery. Just like that. And just like that. All right. So the one thing I really like about this is now I have room for a bunch more stuff I might actually put lights back underneath the bike, and that's gonna give me plenty of room right here to hide all those wires, because those wires are, let's not even talk about that. And obviously the weight savings are ridiculous with the lithium battery. And it's gonna last longer, it's gonna start better, and environmental conditions, you know, don't really matter at that point. And these don't, if you leave the bike sitting for a long time, these are a lot easier to recharge on your standard, same old battery tender. You can recharge these. They take a little longer to recharge, but they'll recharge all just the same. It's not that much longer. It's maybe like 10-15% longer. And they're not gonna go dead if you leave your bike sitting for a few months. That's it. Let's put our seat back on and we done. All right, very simple. That's how you change the battery on this 2012 Fatboy Low, or really any other motorcycle. I promise you, they're all pretty much the same. That's gonna do it. Ride safe. That's it.